Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Background Buzz Podcast, Episode 2, Part 2. This is our news, Part 2. This is our news segment where we talk about the news of this past week. If you like this, check out Part 1, where we talk about what we're playing, and Part 3, where we our segment called Shooting the Shit, where we just riffed on whatever topic we come up with that week.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so let's talk about the news.
So who are you?
I'm Steve.
Oh, I'm Wilson. Okay, let's get started. All right. So
We have, I think, 3 news items this week.
3 news items that really caught our attention. They're relevant topics because what are we going to talk about first? So this week, I mean, if you're into gaming, you've probably already heard that. And if you're a Star Wars fan, Battlefront 2 came out. When did it come out? I think November 17th, somewhere around that time. There's been mixed feelings about Battlefront 2, right? Like some people are excited, about what the game's going to be, but I feel like that's been sidetracked for another issue that's going on with Battlefront.
All these articles will be in the link in the comments below or the description below, but this comes from IGN.
So Steve, what's going on with Battlefront?
I'm just gonna straight up read the article.
Okay, go for it.
All right. So U.S. legislators want to limit sale of games with loot boxes in the wake of Battlefront 2. So if you're unfamiliar, Battlefront 2 had loot boxes in their games. So yeah, now that's a legal issue. Hawaii State Representative Chris Lee is taking a stand against what he calls the spread of predatory practices in online gaming. As mentioned in an announcement specifically about EA and Star Wars Battlefront 2, Lee and others are currently looking at legislation in the upcoming year that could prohibit the sale of games to players that are under 21 years of age, and possibly restrict the inclusion of gambling elements, which Lee believes are present in Star Wars Battlefront 2 via games loot boxes. Lee's team has also been in conversation with other legislators who are examining similar options for their own states in an effort to curb what he describes as predatory behavior on the part of game publishers. And like the article basically just goes on like that. So the way I understand it is the crux of the issue is that games sort of like Battlefront, but some other games as well maybe have these loot boxes where you could pay for the box, but you don't really know what's going to be in it.
Yeah.
And because you don't know what's in it, you're essentially taking a risk, and it's like gambling, which gambling is fine in America, but you have to be 21. But these games are marketed towards kids.
So where's the money element coming in again?
You pay for the loot boxes.
You pay for the loot box.
Yeah.
But isn't that like buying, like, let's say when I used to collect like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, right?
Yeah.
I would buy a Yu-Gi-Oh pack, and if I got a good card, then that's what it is. I mean, I paid for it. I got a good card. How's that gambling?
It's exactly the same, but I mean, the argument could be made that it's gambling because you don't know exactly what you're going to get, and there's reward.
So are those baseball cards. So are those Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like you buy with the expectation that you're going to get a good card, but you don't.
No, but so maybe those were gambling, but it's just now that people are paying attention to it.
I think, and you're right. Maybe. I think this is like a topic that I need to read more about. But my understanding is that there are third-party people that go out of their way to make it into an event.
Yeah.
Where they live stream a loot box that's going to be open, and people can bet on what they're going to get, like a certain gun.
Yeah.
And that's how they make their money. Like they get a cut of it, whoever's hosting it, and people make money off of that.
Yeah.
Now, are kids doing that? I have no idea.
No. I mean, I think that's obviously shitty and weird, but that's not what like the legislation is about. I think that's probably like a very small portion of the market, and I want to say that that's probably already illegal, right? Because wouldn't that just be illegal gambling? Like you can't just have a gambling ring in your basement or something.
I guess so. Yeah. Oh, so what the article is trying to say, like they're trying to get rid of this concept of loot crates in general from like games to do that?
No, I think their argument is that you could have whatever you want in your game, but just as we restrict gambling for adults, well, if it's in a game, well, then you have to be 21 years or older to buy the game.
When I grew up, there were games that were rated M that I couldn't buy, and I found a way.
Well,
I think people will find a way.
People will obviously find a way. I mean, people buy drugs, but it's actually not illegal to like. You could buy a rated M game. You could see a rated R movie because those are just like suggestions by the industry and the publisher. There's no law saying that you can't sell a rated M game to a child. But I think this is taking it a step further, where it's like, well, if GameStop did sell someone this game, now they could be prosecuted for that.
Okay.
And I think, I think that does take it to another level, because it adds all these regulations to an industry that has historically regulated itself.
So I guess where I stand on this issue is this is where I stand, and I'm sorry, Steve, but I have to play it. This is where I stand on this issue.
Who's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
What's in the box, Wilson?
I don't know, but I'm willing to pay a lot of money to see what's in it.
No, but all right. Overall, did you think that we should have laws against that have an age minimum for games that have loot crates in it?
You know what? I think if there's proof that it is predatory and people are getting infected, then it should be looked at.
Okay.
That's where I stand. What about you?
I would say no, just because of the same thing you brought up, that it is similar to Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I think that the industry has been doing fine with regulating itself thus far. Like we have like ratings for games where like you have to be 18 to buy a rated M game. Congress didn't have to pass a law for the gaming industry to make that rule. We sort of did it ourselves. Okay. I think left unchecked, I think the industry will sort of create new regulations to incorporate these loot boxes.
Okay.
Article 2 is about net neutrality.
Net neutrality. Big topic. Big topic that a lot of people have probably heard about, but they have no idea what the fuck it means.
I didn't know what the fuck this was until I read this article.
It's one of those topics where people keep telling me it's important, but I've never taken a minute to really understand what it's all about.
I feel like the alliteration makes it sound cool. Net neutrality.
It is really cool. Yeah.
Let's pause
net
that.
Neutrality.
All right. So after signaling that it would for months, the U.S. Federal Communications Commission (FCC) on Tuesday revealed its plan to dismantle regulations that ensure equal access to the internet, a concept known as net neutrality. The regulations classify broadband access as a telecommunications service, which subject it to common carrier provisions. The bar internet service provider that bar internet service providers from discriminating against how broadband is used. The regulation were passed in February 2015 by the FCC and led by the chairman Tom Mueller. Mueller's successor Ajit Pai, a vocal critic of that move, while some serving under Mueller, has vowed to revisit the issue. Pai's position is that the common carrier provision used to ensure net neutrality is a last century utility style regulation that injects uncertainty into a market now dominated by broadband. Pai, who says he supports open internet, believes that less regulation in this area are more beneficial to market growth. So
that didn't really explain net neutrality to me. Just the issue around it, right?
Yeah.
People wanting it to be whether they deregulate or keep these regulations that are in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I read a little bit about it. The issue, as I understand it, is that the 2015 regulations sort of prevented ISPs from throttling or slowing down service to any one site based on if they're going to pay them or not. Okay. I guess to create like a more free and competitive market.
Yeah. And
I guess this new FCC chairman is taking away those regulations in favor of just having a free market and letting that industry work itself out.
Yeah.
I think that the fear was that if you let ISPs throttle service for like maybe a Netflix or a Hulu, they might do that in favor of their own proprietary service, and like that might hinder competition.
That makes sense, because they want to make more money. So why they would screw with other people's like broadband, right, with Netflix? And
I feel like that makes a shit ton of sense.
Yeah. And I feel like that's one of the issues where letting corporations set their own rules is that's what happens, right?
Yeah,
they look out for their own interests.
That's their own interest.
And nothing's wrong with that. I mean, you're a company. You want to make profit and you want to look out for your own interests. But then, the consumer needs protection as well, where I guess
the consumer needs protection, or even small, less established companies, right? Because let's say I want to start a new streaming service, but I'm not Netflix. I can't afford to pay the fee, whatever Verizon's going to charge. then now I can't start my company. There's no competition.
Are you trying to say that background buzz? We need to pay closer attention to this issue because background buzz might depend on the outcome of this issue.
I think so. I think so.
Well, now I care.
But see, now we have a conflict of interest, Wilson.
Okay. So our opinions from this point on will always be biased.
So overall, do you think the FTC should keep the 2015 regulations?
I think yes. I mean, the little that I understand it just seems like, look, do I like the way things are now when I access the internet? Absolutely. So why change something that, to me, at least from where I stand, isn't broken?
I have to agree, and I like. So his statement was that this regulation inject uncertainty into a market that's now dominated by a broad man who says the open internet believe that less regulation in this area is more beneficial to market growth. I feel like that's what every politician always says about any regulation ever.
Absolutely.
And it's like, well, yeah, the argument could always be less regulations is better for the market, but obviously we have a government, so we believe that there has to be some regulation.
Yeah.
And I think this is an area where there needs to be some type of regulation just to prevent ISPs from being predatory to consumers.
And this is the internet.
Yeah, it's the fucking internet, guys.
It's the internet, guys. Let's not mess around with it. It's great the way it is. I mean, we don't want it to be tainted by artificials.
This has been kind of like a heavy episode, but
it's a heavy load.
But we're gonna round this out with some good news.
Oh yeah, let's end it on. This is the fluff piece, right? So what is the fluff piece of the week?
VC4.
VC4 now. Some people might not know what that is.
For the uninitiated, Valkyria Chronicles 4 has been announced for the Switch, PS4, and Xbox coming in 2018.
That is great news.
How do you feel about that, Wilson?
How do I feel about that? Excited.
Did you play Valkyria 1?
No. I played Valkyria. Wasn't it 3?
You played 1. You played 1.
Never mind. I played 1. It was great.
Right.
It was a pleasant surprise. I had no idea that I was going to love it as much as I... It made me a better gamer. In the sense that
it made you a better gamer?
It made me a better gamer because it put me in a situation where I really wanted to get that A.
The A rank?
The A rank. So A rank means like you complete the mission with the less amount, like within a certain amount of steps, usually being less
least amount of turns, yeah.
Least amount of turns.
Which is like, that sounds simple, but it's really fucking hard. Like, anyone that played that game knows it's hard.
It's really hard, and yeah, so I'm super excited for it. Super excited for it.
Cool. Yeah. No, yeah, I'm a big Valkyria Chronicles fan, so
Huge.
Super excited.
My god.
The one thing that got me a little worried is that it's coming for the Switch.
Why would that get you worried?
Because the Switch is way less powerful than the PS4 and the Xbox One, which means that if they're developing the game for all three, that they're probably going to make a baseline model that can run on all three, which means the PS4 and Xbox One version will suffer.
But is Switch... I mean, was Valkyria Chronicles really a game that pushed an engine, like a... graphically? Like
probably not.
I don't think it ever was about that. In fact, when I played it, the animation style and... It just never... It was never, like, pushing the boundaries of graphics to me.
Yeah.
And it was never about that. So I'm like, I think I could see how it can be part of Switch and PS4. And maybe it'll look even better on PS4. It could be a little bit of an upgrade.
Overall, I'm still excited.
Overall, super excited. So, if we lose the internet, at least we have Valkyria Chronicles
at least
to look out for. And I feel like that I could sleep easy tonight knowing that.
Let us know what you guys think about the loot crates, net neutrality, and Valkyria Chronicles 4.
Yeah.
Look out for part 3 of this video, or the Shooting the Shit segment. That'll be posted on Saturday. If you like this, please like, subscribe. Until next time, keep the buzz going.
Keep it going, guys. No, you can cut that out.
You're not a big fan?
Yeah. I should have said later. Later.